allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Tony, whenever you're ready, can we get a roll call?
Karen Titus?
Here.
Brett Perry? Here. Joanna Donahue? Here. Tim Parrish? Here. Leah Green?
Here. Number 4, we'll start with public comments relating to the agenda. Any comments? Seeing none, number 5, let's start our budget workshop. Has everyone looked it over? You want to go line item by line item, or the ones highlighted that are changing?
About the ones that are changing.
Does everyone agree?
Yes.
All right, so this copier stinks. So the first one is under
Are you on town fund?
town fund. Health insurance, line item 676. I just raised it $3,000 just to accommodate for yearly increases. Any questions? The next one is 681 IRMF. I lowered it because our current rate went down drastically.
Nice.
Any questions? 619 professional services. Oh no, I'm sorry. I should have brought it. Yeah, professional services went up 2,000 because I changed that to the IT and I ran short this year. My IT services are in there. 621 legal services, I bumped up $5,000 because I don't know what's coming there. Equipment purchase went down because I have no intention to buy anything, no need for anything right now. Maintenance expense went up because we're gonna do some work in the assessor's office and the front of the supervisor's office to get rid of all that rotting wood. Any questions?
Yep.
Clerical staff, I bumped that up because of today's economy and seeing what Mark's going through and possible anticipation of hiring someone new. Not in addition, but replacement. Professional improvement, I knocked down. There's nothing anticipated for classes or anything. Same with travel expenses, knocked down. Office expenses knocked up because I don't have anything individualized. So my postage, my toner, my everything is in that line item. And we ran close this year, so I bumped it up a little. Telephone knocked down 1,000. Since I went digital, it's a lot lower. Health insurance I knocked down. And IRMF I knocked down. Mark, do you want to talk about yours? Do you want me to just go down each line item and if anyone has questions they can ask you?
Sure, that's fine.
Okay. So the staff salaries went up. I believe you're anticipating hiring someone.
Part-time person in an office is gonna convert to a full-time position.
Okay. Computer expense went up. Telephone went down. Health insurance went up. Unemployment went down. Social Security went up. IRMF went up and his went up because he's transferring that, I'm assuming transferring that person from part-time to full-time. Contingencies went up and digital transfer went up. Any questions for Mark?
What is your concerns for contingencies that you jumped 15 grand mark?
Well, you know, this year, I mean, it was everything I could do to just get through the budget that I had in place. So, I mean, to be honest with you, you know, I mean, coming in every month and asking for a transfer from one item to the next, you know, it's just, it's stressful, to be honest with you.
Right.
You know, I mean, you sit here and you operate the office and you wonder whether or not you're gonna be able to meet the expenditures. And I get it, you know, I mean, we've done everything we can up there, but at this point, you know, I mean, my hopes and dreams would be obviously not to spend this amount of money, but, I'm just trying to be a little proactive here. We do have a few things that are popping up on the radar with potentially a few, legal questions and things of that nature. You know, I have no idea where that'll go today. People are firing off these FOIA requests left and right for different things and requesting, you know, a lot of information out of our office, and whether or not we're providing that, you know, or required to provide it, things of that nature. Sometimes it requires, you know, a legal opinion on those matters. I don't have a line item for that, so, you know, I'm just trying to be prepared.
Okay, little $15,000 safety net just in case.
Yeah.
I remember we had talked about last year that we had thought that you clipped your nails a little too tight, and you said, no, I got it, so.
Yeah, it's, you know, I mean, it's getting to the point now up there where it's just, if I don't do something here, it's gonna harm the performance of the office up there, and I don't wanna be that person that does that. You know, I try every way I can to, you know, reduce costs up there. You see, we got the phone bills down, and I was able to negotiate that pretty good. We went over to, internet for phone services now. I am, you know, I'm not happy with the service we're getting for that. I do have potential for some more savings here. You know, I haven't had a chance to talk to Lito about that yet, but, you know, there's potential to save, you know, probably up in the neighborhood of another $2,000 off of that. I know it's not, you know, it's offsetting the increase in some of those things, but, you know, anytime I can save $1, I'm the person who they're trying to do that.
How about, the cars? I mean, how old are the vehicles up there?
Yeah, I think our oldest one's 08, and,
I mean, so that, that's
they're
gonna be,
low mileage vehicles, you
There.
know, the way we drive them, stop and go and things of that, it's some of the worst things for them, you know what I mean? But, just a few things popping up here and there, maintenance related, you know. One of them this month, the headliner came off up there, you know, and it was dangled, so just out of safety, you know, somebody's driving the window down, you know, like a thing flying in their face or something. So I had that repaired, and then just general maintenance, but they're pretty solid.
okay, good. I mean, that's probably just gonna be in the future, but,
Yeah.
okay.
What all goes into your computer expenses that went from 25 to 35,000?
You know, a lot of that is, some of the things we did this year is, a lot of companies are pushing you to this, like Microsoft 365, so we have a subscription for that now. Adobe software that we use in the office, they pushed that to a subscription service online. We used to have a vendor that was able to provide it to us at a very reasonable rate, but, now they've eliminated that and some of, you know, some of the resellers and things like that, so you have to go directly through the companies and, that type of thing. We did implement some new software last year in the office for evaluation, so that expense is in there this year. Yeah, we paid it last year. It came out, I didn't anticipate putting that software in place last year, so it came from somewhere else, you know. So, that's pretty much it in there. And then, you know, there are times where, just trying to be a little more technologically advanced there in the office, rather than adding more staff to the office, we try to supplement, you know, through technology. So as we have different things and different ways of going about things, we have vendors that'll provide us services, as, you know, writing short programs or doing this and that to help us, you know, to manage our camera system better and more efficiently. So, you know, that's pretty much it for that.
So how old are your actual computers that are up there?
You know,
Older than the cars or younger than the cars?
Our servers are probably one of the newest things in there, and that's probably about 6 years old now. Our workstations in the office, you know, as they fail, I've been able to replace refurbished ones through one of our vendors that we use, and we've been pretty
only other change is community relations knocked down to 10 from 15.
My question's for you. You had said something earlier that your clerical staff increased. Do you see something changing in your office soon?
10. No,
Okay.
not sure. Just trying to be prepared. Anything else? No?
I just want to say for the record that I think Mark does a fantastic job of running a conservative budget. I know you've asked for more, and I know you have good reason for that, so I have a tremendous deal of respect for your budget. I've watched the way you've done things for the last 6 or 7 years, and I commend you on how you run your office.
I would say the same thing goes for Lita. I mean,
Yeah.
George stood there and told us what a great job Lita's doing, looking at it at an auditor's perspective, so I think you also do a very nice job up there also.
Are we good with town?
Yep, I am.
Good.
General assistance, no changes. Oh, thank, I can't see them. There's no changes. We do see, I am seeing an increase in calls, a lot. So we are obviously well funded for it right now. See where we go this year with that. Any questions, comments, changes? No? Okay. Cemetery fund. The levy increased, and I think everything else stayed the same. Oh, I'm sorry, there is one change in the GA, for office. Because we have a subscription with everything goes online now, so we have a yearly subscription, so that went up $1,000, or 1,500.
What are your average monthly, how many interviews do you do? Just guessing.
Interviews or calls?
Calls.
Well, there's a big difference. I could be on the phone with someone for an hour, and then they don't follow through. So it's just too sporadic to even guess. Some weeks it's every hour, then there's nothing, there's a lot of people just been coming in lately without an appointment. I can't even, I can try and keep track a little bit if you wanna have a notepad, but you're happy to come see it.
When Lee was doing it, didn't he keep a log or something like that?
No.
He didn't? I'm just curious.
I tried for a while, but because it's so inconsistent, I'll get calls that aren't mine, Township. You know, I spend a lot of time on the phone with Salvation Army, McHenry Township, Algonquin Township. There's a lot of time in it lately. If you want me to try and keep a log, I'd be happy to do so.
No, I was just curious about a number. Yeah, we see the same thing in our nonprofit. There's more people asking now.
A lot.
Once they know we're out there, then it's,
Well, this is a really busy time, because I think this is when they can start turning
Yep,
feet off.
that,
Because I
that's,
think March,
they can start turning ComEd off.
right,
Mhm.
so
It's
this is a
gonna,
really
it's,
busy time.
and Lahee closes.
Right.
So, in the next 30 days, it's gonna get
Really
crazy.
busy.
Any questions on the cemetery? Oh, I know why, okay, never mind, already passed that. Nothing on the cemetery? We have no plans to make any big changes, all the surveys are done. We just have to get it, the only change this year, hopefully will be some software and a laptop to get the surveys and the individual names and open plots on this new system,
Nice.
which will be wonderful.
Are we using the columbarium?
Yep. Not, we sold, I just sold another one, there's one occupied and two sold at Holcombville, nothing at Prairie Grove. I would think I still think that's gonna become more popular. There's less burials nowadays.
Okay.
Any overall questions, comments, changes? We're leaving it as proposed. No changes?
Nope, I'm good.
Okay.
I know there's no heat on this or whatever else, but for everybody else that is here, I just want you to understand, you know, from the assessment office standpoint and budgeting and things of that nature, this year we will see an increase in what we've budgeted here, but as I pointed out, and I'm not sure that you guys get a copy of this or not, if you just get a summary here, you know, I can't tell you enough about how proud I am about the people that we have working here at the township upstairs, and, you know, probably throughout the whole township, you know, I mean, I don't interact with everybody, but, I mean, the people up in the office there, I mean, the work that we perform up there and what's being turned out by the staff of our size is, to me, it's just phenomenal. I called around today and I asked a couple of McHenry Township, Algonquin Township on their staffing, and both of them are double what we have in the office.
Right.
Algonquin, I would understand a little bit, they're slightly larger, McHenry would, you know, basically the same. And we're all 40 miles. This budget that I put together here for this year, we haven't seen a budget, this budget falls, I think, when I put this together. This took me back to 2016 is the last time that we had a budget at this amount. So I mean, you know, we've been fortunate enough to scrape through this over the last few years. And, you know, again, you know, going back to 2016, when we've all seen costs of services and everything else that have gone up, that we were just able to hold the line up there. And then I just want to mention a couple of things in the office that I'm pretty proud of here. One reason we did have the increase in the staff up there in the office is I have 2 full-time people up in the office that are going to be leaving, retiring. And between the 2 of them, it's probably pushing about 40 years of experience in the office. So I was fortunate enough to get 2 part-time people last year and have them in the office. You know, the work that we do in the office comes around only every so often, some of the things that we have to do up there. So it's important that we can get people in there and train them up so they're able to go through the cycle once or twice so they understand, you know, what's in front of them and what's expected out of them. So we're fortunate in that standpoint. I don't anticipate, once the other 2 retire, you know, the one person's gonna be moving into the full-time position, that the other full-time position is leaving, so we won't be replacing that. And, you know, we do have another person in the office. One of the people that is leaving is our data collection supervisor. And so I have somebody in there training for that position now. Probably in the future, what I would do is bring in a part-time person for, you know, he moves into the full-time or the head of that position to have a part-timer to help them out on the field there. And one other thing I'm gonna mention here is I know we've got a couple of taxpayers here in the office, you know, here in the audience and up at the table, of course. You know, it's really getting difficult for staff here and when we're out in the field. People, they're not very nice. You know, I mean, I get it, you know, people see us roll up and right away they think, oh, here to raise my taxes or something, you know, that's not our function, you know. We're just, our function in the office is apportioning the burden. We do that by treat people fairly, meaning we try not to assess them any greater than a third of the market value, and we treat you uniform. We treat you the same as everybody else. You know, people in my world, you should be happy that somebody from the township out there. There's many townships where they don't have the staff to go and visit these properties and update their records. You know, it's a chance for people to share information with people. Hey, you might not have been aware of this, you know, you're entitled to an exemption, you know, you're not getting it here. We review that with the people when we're out there. We talk to them about any concerns, you know, that we're not seeing from outside of the property. Maybe there's something inside the home. Hey, my foundation's cracked, I got a lot of water in my basement, I had to tear out my finished basement because I had flooding, any number of reasons, you know, so, it does irritate me in some manners that, the way our staff is treated on the field a lot of times. I mean, we're working through that, we try to educate people on that, but anybody here that can share that information with their neighbors, you know, take a visit from the assessor's office as an opportunity. You know, they're here to talk to you, you don't have to go find them, we're coming there to find you, you know. Talk to us and tell us, hey, you know, I'm not happy about this, what can I do? Hey, how could I lower my tax burden? How could I, you know, what are exemptions available to me? What other things can I do here, you know? I like living here in McHenry County, it's a great place to live, but quite honestly, I think we all agree, you know, the taxes are crushing people. You know, forcing people to make some very hard decisions out there. And it's not gonna get any better for people, because I'm telling you now, I mean, the numbers that I'm seeing coming forward for this next year, based on the sales activities that have occurred and things like that, the assessments are going up again. You know, so the one way, and I know it's kind of counterproductive of what we're doing here tonight, the one way to control that is obviously spending. You know, so I say, you know, I think we do a great job here at the township, we're reasonable, we're fair, you know, we've held a flat, you guys have done a great job holding a flat levy, things of that nature, but I'm sure here, and I don't think that's probably gonna go on any longer. You know, there's a demand that is gonna have to be met on the spending side of this equation, you know, so again, the only thing I can do to help people through that is just make sure that you have a fair assessment on your property and you're being treated fairly. So that's all I wanna say.
Thanks.
All right, number 6, public hearing for budget and appropriation ordinance for fiscal year 24-25 for the town GA cemetery funds. So I did not print out, not knowing if there were gonna be changes, the budget, so I will reprint it without the 2 columns and just leave the one. And give that to Joni to file. And obviously everything else, the others as well. So number 7, any public comment on the budget? Comments, questions? No?
One, have you been able to take advantage of some of the grants available in terms of the Inflation Reduction Act or CEJA, in which the state and federal government do provide funding, sometimes for vehicles if they're energy, you know, decarbonizing and, you know, working within the sustainability parameters?
Never have. I do have it on my desk that you mentioned at the last meeting, but I haven't had a chance to look into it. And I know grant writing is very,
There's a lot of
process.
money out there that, in terms of solar, you know, even, you know, that they actually might even be economically areas that you could save. I was talking to one individual from ComEd today, and he was talking about being able to, ComEd actually will provide people to assess where you're at and energy efficient. And then you open it up to grants and things like that. It's just a thought.
we'll look into it.
What do you think, Mark, electric, assessor cars?
What is that?
Tesla's in the assessor's office
I hear you. Electric cars?
for the assessor.
I mean, these are paid off, man, we'll ride them into the ground.
There's free government money out there.
Yeah.
Anything else? All right, number 8, approval of budget appropriation ordinance for 24-25 for the town, GA, and cemetery funds. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Any discussion or comments? When you are ready, please, Joni, can we get a roll call?
Karen Tynas?
Yes.
Johanna Donahue?
Yes.
Rob Parrish?
Yes.
Tim Parrish?
Yes.
Rita Drain?
Yes, motion carries. Number 9, review and approval of the minutes of the regular board meeting dated Thursday, February 8th. Motion approved.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
Comments, questions, discussions?
Did you put out minutes for the special meeting that we had?
I
also
forgot
the
to
same
put it on the agenda,
Okay,
so I didn't bring them. I'll put it on the next one.
okay.
Couldn't vote on it because I forgot to put it on the agenda. Anything else? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Number 10, review and approval of the town fund transfer and appropriations. We've got 2. We've got one moving $8,068 from salaries to digital transfer.
7,700?
No, I did the other one first,
Oh,
because that's why I typed them, so I have that as number 1 in my head.
What did you say?
what did you say? $868?
Yeah, we're taking $868
$1,000.
from salaries and putting it in digital transfer.
There it is.
Okay.
Huh?
Yeah, you said
Did I?
thousand.
You
Yeah.
said 1,000.
I'm like, I don't
Yeah.
have that one.
That's what I was like, am I missing one?
Sorry. Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Comments, questions? Can we get a roll call when you're ready, please?
Rob Parrish?
Yes.
Tim Parrish?
Yes.
Johanna Donahue?
Yes.
Karen Tinis?
Yes.
Rita Drain?
Yes, motion carries. Then we've got a second one, taking $7,700 from salaries and putting it into health insurance. Motion to approve?
Motion.
Second.
Comments, questions, discussions? While we're ready, please.
Karen Tinis?
Yes.
Johanna Donahue?
Yes.
Tim Parrish?
Yes.
Rob Parrish?
Yes.
Rita Drain?
Yes, motion carries. Number 11, township warrants for approval for payment March 14th, 2024.
Motion.
I'd like to make a motion to withdraw the McCardle bill for $10,800, and I'd like a motion to approve $24,197.25.
Pulling the McCardle bill for a separate vote, or you're just pulling it all the way out
For
altogether?
a separate vote.
Okay. I'll second that.
You got that amount, Jody?
Can you tell me again?
I'm sorry?
Can you say it again?
$24,197.25. I need a second
Second.
motion. You did the first.
Second.
Wait a minute.
Nope.
No,
Yeah.
it was a.
You made the motion.
You made the motion.
Oh
Rob
my
did the
I need to go home. I make a motion to suspend the meeting till next week.
Denied. Unless we get paid another $130.
Any comments, discussions on the 24,197.25? Nothing? Whenever you're ready, can I get a roll call then, please?
Tim Parrish?
Yes.
Rob Parrish?
Yes.
Karen Tinis?
Yes.
Johanna Donahue?
Yes.
Rita Drain?
Yes, motion carries. So then we need a motion for, I don't have, we need a motion for the McCardle or Zukowski Rogers flood bill in the amount of $10,812.50.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
comments, questions, discussion,
Where is it?
over there, in the town fund. I cannot agree to pay a bill that there's no product for and started before it was even approved to hire. I have no idea what those charges are whatsoever.
It's on the last page. I think it's
The
the
last,
very last.
the last voucher.
Oh, it's underneath, yeah. Did you request?
Yeah, we talked about that last one. I have not seen anything. heard
Well, we
anything.
didn't have this bill at the meeting last month.
We got it after the board records were
Right,
done.
so did you request any additional information from him?
No,
or
I
items?
couldn't get any information last time. Why would I think I'd get any this time?
And what was the date of the special meeting?
December 28th. Anybody else have anything?
I've given it a little bit of thought after the last meeting, and I think was the one that said that I wouldn't pay it if we didn't have anything. Fortunately, after rethinking that, I want to have the board with legal representation, and if we don't pay that, I don't want to take any lapse in services, I don't want to have any issues. They're there to represent us, and
How can we pay a bill that we're being billed before he was hired, approved to be hired, and there's been no product?
Something's in the works,
10,000
something.
But something in the works is not anything to give us a bill for. I asked for information and was declined. It's $10,800. It's a lot of money that we're putting on our taxpayers. For what? What's it for?
I'm just gonna be careful with my words here, but, you know, it's essentially, decisions that might have been made outside of this board's control might put us in harm's way, and I just wanna make sure personally, this board is not liable for any decisions that this board had no control over, that may or may not have legal implications.
I don't
I'm
understand.
worried about not paying that bill and having a lapse of services that are there to protect us.
How do you know
How do
they're
you know those
protecting
services
us?
are protecting us? I mean,
What are these
Because
services?
they've been retained.
But what are they doing? How can you bill something and not show any product? Just like the last time we had the bill for them, we didn't have certain information. We requested it, we got it. There were some things, well, one thing, we didn't approve on it. We're paying air as far as I'm concerned. I don't understand how you can approve that amount of money when there's nothing. I mean, if you know some, I just don't understand why I'm being kept in the dark on this. With no information and no product. If the road district is doing something wrong, I should be the first person to know.
Well, if you look back at former meetings, there was a lot said in that regard.
In what regard?
November 16th.
In regards to possible, I'm not saying, it's not up to me to decide this, but things that could harm this board on decisions that were made in the road district. And, you know, there's bills that we haven't paid,
he's a separate entity.
but we approved bills.
But we approve bills based on information we were giving. If there's information that's been incorrectly given to us, or maliciously or fraudulently, that's not on the burden of us to decide. That's what we were given. I mean, I'm speaking on my brain. I'm not speaking in a legal capacity, am I?
Neither am I.
How are we not protected when we did our job as a board to audit the bills? There's a line item, there's money in the line item, we approved it. That's
I
not
agree.
illegal.
I would think that the board was misinformed, directly related to the ownership of that property. If you can remember, we were given a quitclaim deed, and I asked you why, and you weren't sure, and you were very adamant that that property was not owned by or had any ownership interest in, and Scott clarified that for us, that there was.
My adamancy on that was as I explained, the the call I got for Griswold Lake and that parcel where people are docking their boats, and that resident called me and I called the assessor's office, and I talked to Mark about it afterwards, and he said HOA should.
I'm not, you're talking about different things.
No, but it's a similar.
But no, I'm talking my knowledge, I was comparing that to the deed, where it says Mike owns it, as that HOA where that man owned that property and didn't even live in Griswold Lake anymore. That's my analogy of Mike owning that property and not even realizing it was in his name anymore. So if he did that and owned property and did something, that's no bearing on this board, that's a bearing on him. So to say we're protecting ourselves by paying a bill that there's been no product, and I have an attorney that won't give me any information that's been submitted to the state's attorney's office and the state police is absurd. It's irresponsible.
I'm out in the dark as well. I mean, we're waiting, but unfortunately, until we get to the point where we're gonna be told to pay those bills and that we're out of harm's way from both of those entities you just mentioned, I don't feel comfortable not paying that bill.
But we're doing the exact same thing by not paying those bills but we're gonna pay it's kind of the same premise in my eyes. We're paying you guys don't wanna pay a bill that you think was wrong and we're not sure of, but then we're gonna pay a bill that we don't know what it's for. It's the same thing.
I think we know what it's for.
I have no idea what that's for, and I don't understand why when I requested information, it's not given to me. We've hired legal counsel, he's working for us, and I don't know what you guys have, I have nothing. I don't see how you spend that kind of money on that. And the fact that it was started on December 1st. It wasn't hired December 1st.
I'm sorry you haven't done any due diligence on your side. I know she FOIA'd the information and has all the information.
Right.
All the letters and everything. Go back to the November 16th meeting. You'll understand exactly what's going on.
What?
That's when I explained what I believed would be an infraction that was done by.
But this has nothing to do with
Sure
your
it does. We're
investment. No, it
auditors, we are
doesn't.
auditors of the money that goes through this
Then
township.
why are we spending $10,800 without any
I'll tell you what,
product?
let's call the question and the majority will decide whether or not we're gonna pay it or not pay it. Then it's done.
Well, it doesn't really make sense to pay him for when he wasn't hired. And I mean, I still think we should have just turned it over to the state's attorney before even hiring an attorney.
That's where it ended up.
I think if we would've went off the information that was given initially, we would have been misinformed and been blind to the whole thing. And I don't really necessarily have to bring up anything to do with Griswold because none of this has anything to do with Griswold. And
I'm
your
using
perception.
that
I know,
as
let me
my
finish my
analogy.
phrase. I know, I get that, but unfortunately, you were pretty adamant towards us, and had we listened to that, we would have been misled. And we all are entitled to our own perceptions.
What do you mean?
Just because had we not,
I was discussing what I researched and my thought process on it. No one gave me anything else on how that property was owned. It was zero value. You can't sell it.
I respect that, and I respect your perception. Had we followed your perception, we would have been not in a good place, I don't think.
Why?
Just because I think we need legal representation to be there for us in the event that this gets ugly.
What is gonna get ugly?
Watch the November 16th meeting, please. I'm gonna second Rob's motion to call the vote.
Okay? Go ahead.
Roll call.
Roll call.
The motion is to pay the
The motion
Current
is to
bill.
pay the current bill from
Yeah.
Cardinal, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Karen Tynas,
No.
Rob Parrish,
yes.
Tim Parrish,
Yes.
Lita Drain.
Absolutely not. Motion carries. Road district warrants, number 11, road
Is there a
district
separate line
warrants
item
for,
or absolutely not, or is it just a?
Okay.
District warrants,
number 11, township, or 12, road district warrants for approval in the amount of $153,480.52. Motion to approve.
I will send motion.
Second.
Comments, discussions?
I have a question about a Jimmy John's receipt for $365.36.
I had that same question. It was when they were snow plowing for a couple days in a row without any sleep.
Okay, and the donuts?
That was the same situation.
And what about the Sam's Club order that looks like a grocery list?
I did not ask that one. I asked about the,
It's $379.88 for a Sam's Club grocery list. It looks like, so I just have a question about that.
anything else?
Robert Noonan, the roof removal for $800, just wondering where that was
I
at.
asked that too. That was in the, I don't know what portion of the building, somewhere in the building.
Road District Building?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you know if that's the same guy that built the gazebo, which is on the?
I know he's done work for them. I don't
Yeah.
recall off the top of my head what.
Somehow he's related to Mike.
I'm sorry?
Somehow he's related to Mike.
I have no clue.
I'm just saying that that's how I remember the name
No
from
clue.
the gazebo. That's a bill we shouldn't have paid.
Anything else?
Covers concrete for
Who's
material
concrete?
bins. Covers concrete for material bins for $17,250. Looks
Yeah.
like some of it came out of Permanent Hard Road and then some of it came out of Road and Bridge. Is that back here on Road District property?
I did not ask that.
Okay. And then there's a bill in there for 6-foot blocks, $18,135. Just curious if that's, looks like material bins. Is that on Road District property?
Yes, I believe so.
You know, last time when we built concrete pads and overbuilt, we had to buy the Shines property because nobody pulled permit and we got more pervious surface.
Anything else?
Sure. If you look in the payments for replacement taxes to Bow Valley, Crystal Lake, Holiday Hills, Island Lake, Lakemore, McHenry, Oakwood Hills, Port Barrington, and Prairie Grove, all those bills should all be quite a bit higher, but because of the shell game we've been playing the last 3 times on the tax levy, that money has been kept at the road district's level and not returned to the Nunda taxpayers in those municipalities. So the payments that were paid here are substantially less than what they should be entitled to. And you'll hear me talk about that tonight when we talk about his continuing budgeting.
Anything else? Roll call when you're ready, please.
Tim Parrish,
Yes.
Karen Tyner,
Yes.
Rod Parrish,
Yes.
Leanna Donahue.
Yes.
Lady Drain,
Yes, motion carries. Number 13, approval of the April 9, 2024 Nunda Annual Town Meeting Agenda and Notice. Motion to carry or approve?
So moved.
Wait.
I'm
Oh,
sorry.
this
Second.
is just the motion. Go ahead.
Second.
Second,
Comments, questions?
So it's town meeting and then a regular meeting after.
Correct.
on Tuesday.
Do you have to post, what time are you posting the regular meeting at? If this is at 7? We should do 7:15.
It will be 7, I was thinking 7:05, but we'll do
Oh,
7:15.
or even, yeah, what I was gonna say, like even 7:10, like,
Yeah.
cause don't
Well,
we
it'll
usually
be-
go like 7:30 and we sit here forever?
Yeah, I think last year we did 7:15.
Okay.
Joe will be
What
the
time do we
moderator.
have on there?
yeah.
7 for the
Oh, yeah.
town
Town
meeting.
meeting.
Yes, correct.
So it starts at 7.
Yep.
right?
Yeah, and then the regular board.
The regular
meeting
meeting's right
follow.
after,
Yeah.
7:15, yep.
You can actually say immediately following.
I was gonna ask that.
Yeah, can we just say immediately following?
Following the
Yeah.
annual town meeting, which begins at 7.
Sweet, thank you.
Alright.
Any other comments, questions?
You'll do the nominations and everything for the moderator, just as the meeting
Yeah, it's on
starts.
the agenda.
Right, I know it's on there, I'm just
Yeah.
asking.
Anything else? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Approval of the expenditure of MFT funds for the highway department. Motion approved.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
Comments, questions?
Any discussion of what the expenditures will be on?
I never know that. I mean, we do this yearly. I think they change yearly. I know, that I believe that the road district uses a lot of their portion for the salt. And they get proposals from residents on the dedicated roads, I
Yeah.
believe. other comments, questions? Roll call when you're ready, please.
Rob Parrish,
Yes.
Tim Parrish,
Yes.
Karen Tynes,
Yeah.
Johanna Donahue.
Yes.
Linda Drain,
Yes, motion carries. Number 15, any new business? No? Number 16, any old business?
I brought you candy and eggs for your Easter egg hunt.
You're welcome. That's coming quick.
Yeah, I'll be out of town for the actual hunt, but
Okay,
I wanted to get it to you as soon as I could.
thank you, I appreciate it. Number 17, any public comment? You have 3 minutes.
I'd like to find out.
Wait, hang
Mr.
on, you
Perry,
guys state your name and your address, please.
David Coogan, 3115 South Woods Avenue, McHenry.
Hang on, I gotta start my timer, please.
I would like to ask Mr. Parrish, with that $10,000, he said to protect them. Is this a vendetta against the road commissioner because one of the parishes lost against him and got the board against him? Now, every time you turn around, this board is against Mike. I have never seen, and I've been here a long time, they did a witch house just like this with Ed Hughes, and what happened? They had the FBI, everything happened, didn't have a thing on them, and you people are acting the same way. It's terrible.
You know we can't comment here.
Well, that's all right. I'm just telling you how I feel. I've been in this township since I was born and never seen nothing like what goes on here tonight. I can't tell you where we're spending almost $11,000 of taxpayers' money because we want to protect ourselves. Cut it out.
Thanks.
Anybody else? Number 18, reports by, I have nothing, but the Easter egg hunt will be on the 30th. Tony?
I have nothing.
Mark?
Not really preparing anything, I can tell you, most people probably noticed the corner of 176 and Paracata's been cleared, you know, that beautiful piece of wooded land that was there. We knew it was gonna happen, so that's under construction now for some senior living apartment complexes.
Yeah, I didn't know what it
I
was.
didn't know what it was.
They cleared
over
that
by Casey.
so
So
fast.
I know, right? I mean,
Wow.
I saw that. I've said for years that would be an ideal multi-family parcel, but, you know, finally somebody jumped out and said, God, in New York.
It really was, and I drove by like one day, and then the
I drove by
next day,
every
and I'm
day.
like, was that like that yesterday? And that was the fastest I've ever seen something go down.
Hey, check it, I don't know how they got around that in the city of Crystal Lake, because you got a tree preservation ordinance, so I don't know how you resolve that matter, a lot of trees there. But, and then on the other side of that, you know, on 31 in McHenry, we have about 530 units of multifamily under construction now by Kunat, and that's moving full steam ahead. So, I mean,
Where's that, 31 and what?
31
Across from the mobile
Veterans
gas
Parkway,
station?
kind of across the
Gas
street from
station.
the old waste management
Okay,
facility
gotcha,
there.
gotcha.
Yeah, so one building's up already, I mean, they have several buildings up. in
Yeah, they're almost done,
stages.
they're almost done building.
Yeah, that one building, I talked to the general out there the other day, I think out of the 30 units, they had 27 leases in place already, and they weren't ready to move in at that time.
Wow.
So, you know, that's moving full steam ahead. Woodlore, I mean, that's just, whew, you know, I expect it'll probably be completely built out this year, you know, and including the townhomes are just starting, you know, on 176 there, on the new access way you can go in off of.
Is that the
176.
last phase of it, Mark?
Yeah, I'm kind of hopeful that maybe they might reconsider and purchase the old Amutol property in front of there, because that would be an ideal, you know, multifamily site or something there, you know, but, I guess, we can wait for the price to come down or something, I don't know.
That's not gonna happen.
Yeah, no, I don't know. So outside of that.
How many years is it, how many years has that Amityville been empty? Guessing. 20?
Well,
25?
no, not that long. I forget when they tore it down, I'd say under 10 years, let's say that, but everything seemed to me like the other day. I'd have to pull the record to look at it, but it seemed about 10 years or something.
I think so.
You know, they
It's like
rotted there
was
for a while, but then they
15,
eventually
and
tore it
I
down.
had her there.
Where? The Ambutal?
Yeah. Like when it was still open, I think. I'm trying to go back and figure out which one was my
I
last
know.
kids that I ever took in there.
Our dentist used to be in there, remember? But, yeah, so that's going, you know, and, you know, throughout the township, you know, the vacant land and, office space is still struggling, you know, months, I don't know that, you know, office space will ever come back, you know, you see it throughout the county here now, you know, a lot of them being bought up and converted to alternative uses, apartment complexes and things of that nature, but, you know, when things were good, you never looked at it and said, well, geez, this segment of the market's overbuilt, but now that things kind of turn a little south, you can see where some of the warning signs were and some of that stuff, so, you know, we're still having some trouble with the office market. Outside of that, you know, just move full speed ahead here, you know, we got about, I don't even wanna say the number, I don't have it in front of me, but quite a bit of, new construction, which mainly is taking place in the Woodlord right now, you know. There's not a whole lot of, one-off developments like we used to see, you know, somebody buy a lot and build their own house, you know. Now it's, you know, pretty much everybody's holding to the national developers and whatever they're putting up, you know, buying it up and getting in there. So, I'm hopeful to see, you know, the people asking a little bit less for the land now, maybe we're gonna start to see some other activity and, you know, people picking up some lots here and there, maybe building. Oh, I will say this, preliminary numbers for, assessment levels for this year, 3-year average, under 30% based on, you know, 3-year average level of assessment in the township, which means positive increase in assessment levels, even if we don't adjust them at the local level here, that we'll be experiencing equalization through the county and probably in the neighborhood of about 11%. Unfortunately, it's, in this county, we don't have a lot of commercial industrial growth. Some other counties are fortunate enough to be able to equalize those classes of property separate from each other, because for the most part here in McHenry County, those numbers are driven by the residential market, which means people that are being pulled along with that are the industrial guys, the commercial guys, and things of that nature, where they're not seeing those kinds of increases in those properties. Maybe the industrials to some degree, but not in the 1% range. So that's something we'll have to take a look at this year in hopes of, you know, maybe heading off some of that impact on some of those properties. That's that.
Thanks, Mark.
Not too sexy or exciting, but it's what we do.
Rob?
I sit at this desk here because I have concerns of how money is spent throughout the whole township. I have control over some of what happens here at the township level, and I think between the 5 of us, 6 of us, we did an outstanding job over our last term to keep the costs down and actually abate money back. I think Mark does an outstanding job, and I've commented on the fact that he think he clamps his nails too tight, and you see this, he had to do a little correction this year in order to catch up. So being a 4th generation Nunda resident, I have real big issues when somebody down that end has $5.3 million that he can spend however he wants. And those payments come to us and we have to prove them no matter what. Until we find out that he can't do what he's doing and we still have to pay the bills. So I have concerns, major concerns of how we've spent the money here within the last year down there. And if I have to have an attorney represent my interests being on this board, I'm gonna do that. And if there's more, the majority of the board thinks that also, we're gonna do that. I'm sorry if you don't like it, but that's the way it goes. There's $5.3 million. We've asked him every year, you can't cut your budget? Absolutely not. We all stood up against him. He sued us personally for $5.3 million. A lot of these other municipalities around here can do it for half that. I mean, a lot of the expenditures that he's made, we don't agree with. And when we question him about it, then he has to go hire an engineer, or he's gotta go back to the county and say, sorry, we overbuilt that property over there. We had to go to Mr. Shine and buy his piece of property for $300-some thousand. And Mike sat right there and said, sorry, it's $300,000. It's not 10.
Wasn't that done under John?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, just, you're the first person that's ever come in here and ever questioned what we're doing. We had people from Villa LaPaul, listen, Villa LaPaul, is that, I said it right?
Yeah.
Lapel.
Villa LaPel. Steuben Road, the Steuben Road residents sat there crying because he was not here to represent himself, because he massacred their subdivision. We spent over $700,000 in that subdivision. No permits, no stormwater permits. He could have to rip it all out if it's found by the county that it's not compliant. No permits to redo a whole road.
What would you do if you were road commissioner?
I would do it the correct way. I'd ask for the county stormwater permits, I'd get proper engineering, I would discuss it with the residents, say, here's how I'm gonna solve your problem. All they wanted was the holes patched. He cut down all their trees, new curbs, went in and took built a parking lot on a private dedicated road that was considered private.
Yeah, but look at all the past road commissioners. I mean, I've been here since Leroy Geske, for
Sure,
crying out loud.
sure.
And look at all the past ones. Mike is the only road commissioner that actually gets out there and works. You go to Hughes, all of them, and Mike is the only one that actually goes out there and works with.
But the rest of them would talk to the constituents. We have the people from Steuben Road said, we're standing on the road, and he goes around us. We call him, he doesn't answer us. We email him, he doesn't answer him. That's how he runs it. He bullies his way through, and then he backs up and he asks for us to support him. We got bills from Jim Condon in here for $13,000, and he's going back looking at work Mike already did. That should have been preemptively done. You should have engineered it before you got started and got approval before you go blundering into a subdivision. Or let the residents know. I mean, they're in here asking us what he's doing. How do we answer that? I mean, you and I aren't supposed to have a dialogue right now, but I'm
Yeah.
allowing you
Yeah.
to speak. I know, but let him speak.
If you're so, you guys are so much, anything he does, you're against him.
No.
Everything he
No,
does.
no,
that's not
You're
true.
saying no?
No.
Did you guys not freeze their wages? What?
Whose raises?
Okay,
All right,
I'm not here
let's,
to-
Rob,
No, we
finish
didn't
your
do hers
comments.
either. We did hers because she's, was carrying on a challenging, electoral time at that time. We gave her, what, $2,000 more? Went from
And
11
you
to
also
13?
froze Mike's and the supervisor's wages, didn't you? I saw that in the paper.
Did what to the?
You froze their wages so they couldn't get a wage increase.
It's not the people that they're voting against for wage increase, it's for the office. We have no idea who's gonna take the office when salaries are set. It's a salary for the office, it isn't for Mike, it isn't for Mark, it isn't for Lita. It's for the position of the road commissioner, supervisor, and an assessor.
Right.
I'm sorry, I'm not a
No, that is
Do you have
correct.
any more comment, Rob?
No, if you're, I'll keep mine open if you wanna continue dialogue. If not, I mean, I'm always available too. You'll
Yeah.
find that.
Yeah, I just don't agree. It seems like anything Mike does. I mean, I have never heard anything that this board approved that has something to do with Mike. And I don't really get along with Mike.
Yeah,
What I think it's terrible the way you guys treat the guy.
well, it's
If you guys are so worried about him being overspending, why don't you do something? You're board, you're supposed to control things.
Mr. Dugan, he sued us when we tried to. He took us all to court and sued us
What
last
happened?
time. We lost because he has ultimate control of his money,
Under a statute, though.
right? There's nothing we can do about it. But he sued us personally. He ran up a legal bill on both sides of the
So you
suit.
guys are virtually doing the same thing right now.
No, I'm concerned about
Your
it.
brother just got done saying in that speech about the $10,000 that he wanted to protect himself. Why would he want to
I
protect
wanna
himself?
protect the board.
You said, I want to
I did.
protect us.
I did.
Yeah, the board, excuse me.
Yeah. No, I did say that, and I won't retract that, I'll stick to it. I don't know where this is going. And I'll just leave it at that.
Why don't you let the people at Township that you're spending their money, like I said, when Ed Hughes was there, how many hundreds of thousands of dollars did they use, had the FBI and everybody after him come up with zero? So what happens if you guys spend all this money on legal and come up with nothing? Are you gonna say, oh, well, we spend it because we want to protect the board?
I'll just go back to the principles why I ran for office and why I'm here every month, and this is the first time you and I are meeting. Why I'm here is to audit the bills and try to always do what's right. Was raised that way, I'm fourth generation like he is.
I know, I used to work with your dad at Curran.
Well, my father raised me to try to do the right thing. And you know what? We're one of 5, 6 including Joni, that put our names out there, took a beating publicly for whatever people can try to find on you. We're here for that reason. I am here to try to do what's right always. Have I tried to make every decision I can since I was elected to last term before this one? I always try to do what's right. I always try to do be the best steward for the taxpayers I can. And right now, in the situation we're in, I'm thankful that we have legal representation. And I'll leave it at that. I hate wasting any taxpayer money. I hate it, okay? And when Mike was, and I'm not here to sling mud, when Mike took our Nunda equipment to his backyard in a surplus of mulch, okay? I wasn't there. trying to browbeat him or anything like that. Do I think that is right to take our township equipment over to your backyard and benefit from a surplus of mulch that he had to find a use for? Use our taxpayers' fuel, equipment, our labor, all that to benefit in my own backyard. I don't know if you remember that situation, because that was in the paper too. I wasn't there to say, Mike, you know, even though every bone that my father helped create tells me that that is wrong, and the perception to the taxpayers, it's wrong. We get legal representation for that, but this situation that we're in now, we need it. And I'll tell you this, the $10,000 that we paid tonight, I have made plenty of decisions. I was huge, and I know that, and I'm not here to stand on a pedestal or anything like that. When we went through the garbage contract, okay, I was instrumental in that. Before Lita was in there, and I know there was an argument there from his widow, but I was the one that pushed that garbage contract forward, and that saved the township way more than $10,000. And I will keep doing that, and I will keep doing that. So, and I appreciate you being here, and your history in Nunda Township. You should be as passionate as we are, and get your butt up here. Come join us, please. Try to make sure that over there is spending money the right way. We're spending the right way. And I appreciate your passion in being here and trying to call us out and say it's a vendetta. It's not. It's because my father put me on this earth to try to do what's right. Okay? I coach high school basketball. I donate my salary back. If you don't believe me, contact the Crystal Lake High School, Central High School. I give my salary back. Why do I do that? Because A, I love this area. I love the kids. I love the school because I came through there. That is why I do it. This is why I'm up here. I asked Lee when I first started this gig, I said, can I take my salary and donate it back? He said, you cannot. You have to take your salary. I'm here because I'm trying to do what's right. All the time, in everything. And we go through it all with a fine-tooth comb. So I respect that you are passionate. I am the same way. I'm just trying to do what's right all the time, and I do not want this board to be in any harm's way. So I apologize.
So you're doing this, that taxpayers expense, so you don't even know what this attorney's gonna charge us, do you?
You know what? I don't want to see us put in harm's way, and I'm going to continue, and you have my...
Yeah, but you won't answer the question. What do you figure this attorney's gonna cost on the township? Not you personally, on the township.
You know, I guess, I can't answer that question because I don't know, but I will say this. I'm going to keep doing why I was elected, okay? Why I'm on this board. I'm going to continue to do what my father, again, taught me, right or wrong, okay? And then, there's not many people in this world that will tell me my father did a lot of wrongs.
No, Bud was a good guy.
So I'll just tell you that. That's why I'm gonna leave it with that. I'm gonna close my discussion on that. I'm gonna continue to go until I'm voted off of this board to try to do what's right. And tonight I made a decision that I think is right.
Johanna?
No.
I wasn't done yet. Mr. Dugan, Michael Esperance has not been to a meeting here since 15 months ago, when the lady from Steuben Woods wanted him to know that they have potholes and she wanted them fixed. He has not attended. He hasn't answered any questions from any of the general public. And the general public comes here begging for us for answers. I mean, they stare at us like, do something, like we cannot do anything. We cannot do anything to him except audit his bills as they come through. And question his spending.
You can go back when Copsel was here, you can go back when Dvorak was here, when Hughes was here. These roads have never been as good as they in Nunda Township as they are now. And he's doing it at less expense with Nunda Township's equipment and crew.
No, he's not.
Oh, it's cheaper to hire Kern or?
All right, can we just take
No,
it to
no, no, no.
comments? Yes.
He doesn't use MFT money, so he doesn't have to use N50 mixes. Are you aware that he does not use the proper mixes on the roadways? And you're also aware that every compaction report that I requested did not meet the compaction? So what he really did was he generated a liability for the township, for a less quality product put down in a wrong application. Is that what you would like to pay for, is a less quality product?
I'd have to see that on paper.
Absolutely, I can get it for you. He gave me Ruston Bridge Road. They tested it the day I asked, rather than the day they did the rolling. Right, you gotta set a growth curve and everything, and you should be at over 93%, he was in the 80s. So it's a less quality, it's like a snowball that's not packed tight enough. Cause his equipment's inferior. He doesn't have the tradesman either.
I don't know if the Tech worked there for how many years, worked for Curran. I mean, he's a foreman for the paving out there, isn't he?
I have no idea who's over there. I just know the quality of the work. So, all right, I'm done now, thank you.
Yeah.
Karen? I'd like to go back, I'm sorry, I did not do the decennial meeting, sorry Butch. I just got that Cox report that we talked about, released from the township. You guys could look at that, we'll have our, and, Joni, look these over, and I still haven't gotten any, so, any discussion or anything to do with that, so I'm just gonna fill out that form. I'll bring it to the next meeting, and we could, finalize that report. I'm sorry? I know. To do this, I know. I just figured this was gonna be a long meeting, I didn't wanna go into this on a long one.
So April?
Yes. April decennial, Butch.
I'll be here.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Meeting adjourned. Huh?
Change your clock.
Oh, that thing's heavy, I ain't changing that. I'm not changing that.